Welcome back, GRD121, to part 3 of our wine bottle label exercise. And I said this would be short, and I lied because it's taking longer, but sometimes design work takes a little bit longer. So for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to put our label that we designed here, or our logo that we designed here, and we're going to put it on a label and put it on our bottle. And one thing I did here, I don't know if I did this yet, I think I grouped it. Yeah, I did group it. And you could even name the group and call it, Maple Leaf or something. Maple Leaf logo, you could name the group, and that's our logo, and we're going to copy that. So I'm going to do a Command C, or if you're on Windows, Control C. I'm going to go to my bottle glass page. Remember, we have separate pages here. Now, what I'm going to do first, before I even paste, I'm going to highlight my glass here. Now, I have 2 layers for my glass, so I might just group them. I mean, you can put them in a layer group, or you can just go here and group them. And I'll just call it glass, just so it's easy to move them together, because it's the wine and this thing together. And actually, I didn't plan on doing this, but let me zoom in here. One thing I didn't do when I recorded this video, and I'm going to click on here and click again. So I just click on the wine. And I don't like that my wine goes so far up to the top. I'm just going to draw a rectangle, and I'll just draw it like to about there. And what I'll do is I'll select the rectangle and the wine, and not the glass, and I'll just do a subtract. And that makes me feel a lot better, because it didn't look very nice with the wine going up to the top. Although you may drink wine up to the tippy top, but it's very easy to spill it like that. So it looks better like that. It looks a little more realistic. So there's my wine glass, and it's still grouped. Yeah, it's still grouped. So I'll just move it over right now, and I'll do my label. So let me close this up, and to make a label, I'll just use a rectangle. This should be easy, and I'll go over here, and I'll just make a label, I guess a basic wine type label. I'm not looking at one, but something like that, and I'll make it white to start, or actually right off the bat, let me throw a gradient on it. Now, keep in mind, look at the bottle. So it should be white here, and then maybe it could get a little darker, then maybe it could get white in the middle, and then a little darker and white. Now, you don't have to go crazy with the label, but you could use real subtle things here. If I select this again, make sure you select it again, and go in here, and I choose linear gradient. Now, it's going to make it go from white to black. Now, that's okay, because I actually want it to start at white. This is white at the end here. It looks kind of gray, but it's actually white. And I could even go here and make another white if I want. Kind of make that go over. And over here, I don't have to be black at the end. I could just go with kind of a gray at the end. And what's it doing? See, I had this happen before. I don't know how the hell it does this. But it's saying color fill, and it's letting me do a gradient. So let me click off this. I don't know what's going on here. So let me go in here again. And again, just so that way you know it's not just you. There's just odd things here. Now, let me go here again. It should say linear gradient. And I'll go here and I'll make it white. Now it's working. I don't know what the hell was happening, and it drives me nuts. And hopefully now it didn't change. Let's just see what happens. If I go make it like a gray over here. See, were you watching that? What did I do to make that go out of the gradient? It's very bizarre. I don't know what the hell happened. So I am going to go into the shape again. Go here. And click on this. And I'm just going to make that be a dark gray. And that's what I want. Now, why is it going into color fill? That's very bizarre. I don't know what I'm doing by clicking down here. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, GRD121, just breaking into your video here just to let you know something. As I was watching myself have a breakdown with the gradient, as I was editing the video, I was watching what happened, and here's what was actually happening with the gradient, and it's bizarre. But if I just draw a rectangle, I'll just draw a rectangle here, and it'll be gray, and I'll make sure it's on the page. And if I go into make a fill, and I make it a linear gradient, just like I was doing, and now if I edit this first gradient, and I'll just make it yellow, I'll go to this gradient, and I'll make it something else. I'll make it a dark gray, and maybe I'll go in here and add a white, or whatever, and I'll go here, and I'll add a blue, whatever I'm doing. But if I move my mouse over here, look at this. It just changed this thing up here to color fill, and now if I go in here, I can still edit colors in my gradient, but it's not affecting this one anymore. It's really bizarre. I have no idea why that happens or why it's doing that. But anyway, if you're editing a gradient, I guess just don't let your mouse wander off onto the page. Keep your mouse in here. I think it's okay. Let me just try one more thing here. And if I draw a rectangle and I go to give it a gradient, and on this side, I'll just put a white in the, or I'll just put a different color in the middle here. I'll put red in the middle. And if I use an eyedropper, let's say I wanted to match, I don't know, this little pink color down here. Let's say this color, I want that pink color. If I use my eyedropper and I go down here and I select that pink color, that messes it up too. It seems like it doesn't like messing with the gradient going into here. That's really bizarre, because why have an eyedropper in here for the gradient? So let me just try that one more time just to see if that's the case, because maybe other people were going crazy with it. But again, I'll fill it and I'll give it a radial gradient this time. And in the middle, which is this one, I'll give it a red, so it goes red to black. And let's say I want this color on here, I want to sample it from somewhere else. And I want to sample it from here. Look what happened. It became color fill, and I think it did sample the color, but now I can't do anything with it. That's really bizarre. And let me try this one more time. I'll click off and I'll go back on it, and now I could go inside. And now if I click on it, I could still edit it from here. Like, let's say I made this green and I could adjust the green in here. And let's say I want to sample the green from this leaf. It sampled it, but then it stopped. It says color fill, and it won't let me edit the gradient any further, which is really bizarre. So I guess all I can say is just be careful if you're sampling from outside of here, or if you move your mouse outside of here, it's going to create problems. I'll let you know if I find any solution to that or help you fix it, but at least I kind of know what was going on, what was driving me crazy during that video. It was my mouse drifting over here and turning that into color fill, so I couldn't keep editing the gradient that I was working on. So anyway, back to the video. Let's see, if I click here, it's not, let me just throw orange in there. It's not doing anything. I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess I'll have to figure it out. I click here on my shape and wait, it's still not doing it. It's showing color fill. Let me click off, click on, go in here, linear gradient, that's what I want. And let me go over here, I'll click here, and I'll make a darker gray. Now it stayed linear gradient. And maybe I'll go in the middle, and I'll make it a white. And that worked. So I don't know what was happening there. I still don't know what was causing that, but, and then maybe I'll go here, and make a gray, and that looks a little too gray, so I'll go a little lighter maybe, something like that. Now that looks okay. Now again, at least you know it's not you with the gradients, because it was switching to color fill when it should be saying gradient. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a glitch thing or if I'm doing something. I did it slow and it seemed to work better, but I don't know what's going on there. So I apologize for that if you're having the same problems. But I think this looks okay. You're seeing some highlights here on the label. Now I won't mess with the gradients anymore, and I'll go here. Now it's still a rectangle, so that means I could use my sub-select tool, and I'm just going to round it off a little. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Just going to round the corners a little bit. That's all I need. And then you probably won't even see that, but I can't mess with the anchor points right now. So after adjusting the round corners, then because I want to use the anchor points, that's why you want to convert to path, because I now want to mess with the anchor points, and it's a rectangle and I can't. I did want to use the round corners, which I can as a rectangle, but now I want to bend it a little bit. So I'm going to go here and take my sub-select tool and hover over here and just drag up a little. I just want to make a little arc, and I'll make a little arc down. And I think that looks okay. If I go back, that looks a little better. It gives a little kind of volume to that. Now, I already copied, so I could probably paste, but I'm probably better off going here and just copying it again, because that was a while ago when I did my copy. So I'm going to copy here, and I'll do Control-C or Command-C on Mac, and I'll go back here, and I'm going to do a paste. And there it is. And it says Maple Leaf logo, and that's where I want in the front, at least for now. And if you hold Shift and grab on a corner, it'll scale the whole thing for you. And it is a group, so, and it's doing the text nicely too, so that's nice. And be careful not to click once, because it might click one of the leaves. So when you move it around, just grab it and move it. And I think that looks okay. I'll even nudge it with my arrow. Now it's kind of going off the edge there. And that looks okay. Actually, the fact that it's kind of faded probably looks a little bit better. And I don't know, I hate to cover it up with my wine glass. I can't have my wine glass there. Obviously, that has to go on the front or up top in front of it. Now, I don't want to copy my nice logo there. I hate copying it over now, but I guess I'll do that. Just move it a little bit so you can kind of see what it says. And I think that looks okay. I can move this down a little so it looks like it's in front. I'll move it away so you can see a little of the leaf there, but that's all that matters. It looks nice. It looks like a logo. It's a logo I designed. I used a leaf that I traced. I picked the fonts. I did some design work, so that's all you need. So that actually, if you get something that looks like that or something like that with your own design, you know, like I said, that you're going to experiment a little bit with on this page. Then when you find one that you like, group it together. And I kind of like this one after working a little bit, and that's why you want to take some time and work with it a little bit. Follow the rules where you keep it conservative. Think of contrast, something standing out, something being light. And how do you make it lighter? You can spread out the tracking is one way to make that stuff lighter. This is made lighter by spreading it out. It's not always, you can't always just make it smaller, because if it goes smaller, then it makes a smaller footprint. But I like the footprint that's just as wide as the logo. That's what I like about that. I don't know if I like the shadow up there on that one, but this one was kind of interesting. So I like that. And I wasn't going to use that script font, but that looks okay. And going back here, I think it looks okay. It looks better than just having an empty bottle, I think. And that's my exercise. So when I'm done, I want to save it. And I actually did Command S, or Control S, just by habit, and I think that did it because it says syncing. So obviously, if you do Control S, oh yeah, so that's Command S. So if you're on a Mac, Command S. If you're on Windows, Control S will also save, other than clicking on that. So now I have this thing synced and saved, and when you're done with it, you can just share it again. So it's a different file because it's called 12, and you could share it and just copy it. And eventually you might want to make a PDF of it, but I'm not worried about that right now. And we'll go back here. We'll log in, and I'm going to go down to Unit 10. Now, even though by the time you see these videos, we'll probably be on to Unit 11, but I'm going to keep it in Unit 10 because that's where it should go. And don't worry about the due dates. I'm going to put a longer due date so you could work on it. But we're going to finish up in Unit 11. We're going to finish up with our Gravit stuff, and then with Unit 12, we'll start with Photopea and start doing Photoshop type stuff, photo editing. But for now, in this wine bottle label in Unit 10, just click on it and just add a comment and just insert your link, paste it, make sure you choose new window, hit OK, and hit save. And that's it for exercise 12 of putting our label, or doing a little design work and putting our label on our wine bottle to make it look a little more finished, a little more like a little portfolio piece where you created everything. So hopefully yours came out nice. Eventually we can make a PDF of it, but right now, since we have all these pages, I think it selects all the pages when we make a PDF. So we could always make a separate PDF for you to keep, so you have a version of that outside of Gravit as well. So that's exercise 12, wine bottle label.